If I knew these 7 principles 10 years ago, my life would have changed much earlier. Make mistakes and don't be afraid to keep making them. Now, why would I say something like this? Because in order to make a mistake, you first have to try. You only make mistakes if you have a certain goal or standard that you're trying to reach, which in and of itself shows that you're an ambitious person to some degree, because you're striving for something. Everybody makes mistakes, whether it's the smartest guy in your class or the more successful guy in your company. But if everybody makes mistakes, what separates the people that are ultra successful from the ones that are not? Most people make mistakes, but they never really take anything away from them. Sometimes they even attribute their shortcomings to extraneous factors. It's not my fault I'm late, the drivers were moving slower than the line at In-N-Out. If you keep thinking like this all the time and constantly projecting your failures and your shortcomings, you will never change your behaviors and you will never get better. So the first step is to take action. Take that jump. Do the thing that you've set out to do to reach your goal. The second step is an inevitable one, because you are going to make mistakes along the journey to your goal, which is recognizing the mistakes you made. And the final step, which separates the normies from the top successful people, is to learn from your mistakes. Accept that what you did was a mistake, own up to it, and try to understand why it happened and start to think of steps to stop it from happening. If you accidentally sent photos of yourself at a furry convention to your family or friends, maybe don't go to a furry convention. Maybe put your phone on airplane mode. Come up with an excuse that you thought you were going to go to a mascot convention. Learn a skill. This is one of the most important secrets a person under 27 has to understand. Many people, especially aspiring entrepreneurs, don't believe in working a job for someone else, which is great, and I will always support someone going out on their own to do their own thing. But first, you need to understand a few things. Number one, what are you good at? Just because you can sprinkle some green onions on top of ramen doesn't make you a chef. What are you better at than most people? What can you do better than 95 or 99% of others? Second, what do you suck at? Don't be afraid here. Chances are you suck at a lot of things, and that's okay, because most of us do. This is especially true if you're young. Don't beat yourself up if you're younger and you're trying to learn something, you're trying to do something, and you're failing at it or you're not succeeding right away. I can build a PC and help a Fortune 500 company make another $5 billion in a quarter, but I couldn't change a tire until I was 23 years old, and I was really embarrassed about that. I had many opportunities to learn and ask questions when other people were changing a tire, but I pretended that I was way too cool and I knew what I was doing, and I would either walk away or not try to learn. And I did a massive disservice to no one else but me. Now, the best way to learn a skill is not through school. Now, don't get me wrong, school will give you a map to help you navigate your path, but if you don't walk that path, you will never truly learn. So the best thing to do is take that schooling and get a job or an internship or an apprenticeship if you're in a trade. Learn on someone else's time and get paid for it. Put your time in, put the hours in, put the work in, and when you have enough knowledge, go out on your own. Don't try shortcuts and don't try to rush through this, guys. Listen to what others have to say and be receptive to the feedback. Now, I'm not saying listen to everyone, because some people are just assholes, but listen to your professor, your client, your boss, especially if they have good feedback. This is one of the best ways to grow, because sometimes you can't see all the faults with your work, or sometimes you like to think that you did something better than you actually did. Maybe that pizza that you made for your friends tastes more like a soggy brick than it does a pizza. If you don't open yourself up to criticism and feedback, you will continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. You'll look back one day and you will have been in the same spot that you were at years and years ago, never improving and never reaching your full potential. The ones who argue or think they know best are not gonna go far. The ones who take notes or even ask questions like, do you have any suggestions? Those are the people that are gonna grow at an exponential rate while everyone else stagnates. Own, don't rent. Now, a lot of people are gonna be like, hey man, I'm 23, I'm 25, hell, I'm even 30, and I can't own anything. Look at the state of the economy. I get it. The state of the economy and the price of everything is ridiculous. ridiculously high. Owning a home for someone who is 27 or under, or Gen Z, is about as likely as beating a bear in a wrestling match. But the fundamental concept is still extremely important to understand when you're young. Beginning to own and build a portfolio of income generating assets, or just assets in general, is one of the most important things you need to start right now if you already haven't, in order to create wealth. As opposed to liquid wealth such as cash, assets like houses can go up in price, sometimes significantly depending on where you live. You need to assess the city, the neighborhood, the values of the property around it. You need to do your due diligence. This is a really big decision. And if you live in a place like California where rent every month costs more than your kidneys, move. There are some great places where you can mortgage a house for much less than it costs to rent in a place like NYC or California. Do house hacking. If the place you just bought has 2 or 3 bedrooms, rent the other ones out and live in one. That'll not only pay for your mortgage, but now you also own an asset. Don't chase relationships. For this one, I'm gonna use men as an example because most women really aren't out there chasing men the way we are chasing them. But this advice can also apply to women who want to be successful. Look, I know what it's like to be a guy in his 20s, and I was a teenager back in the day. Sometimes the wind just blows one way and you get harder than the CFA exam. And I'm gonna preface this by saying that it's not actually a good idea to cut communication with women completely. That's weird and will make you a goober. But don't spend hours a day pursuing them. I personally know many guys and have friends who are constantly on Tinder or Hinge or whatever dating apps are out there. They're just swiping right for like 5 hours a day. Instead of spending hours or days or weeks DMing girls on Instagram, spend that time making yourself better, set goals for yourself, and put in the work every day to get to those goals. Guys, if there's one thing you take away from this video, and I want you guys to pay attention to this part and come back to it, save it, bookmark it, timestamp it, I don't care. But take this home with you. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you spend that time is the most important thing. There will always be time for women. If you have built yourself to be a healthy and successful man by the time you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s, you will actually be in a much better position to attract quality women. And again, this advice is also applicable to the ladies. Make sure that you're putting yourself and your goals ahead of pursuing the other gender. This next one is one of the best kept secrets that only the super successful people know. Surround yourself with hungry people. Doing this while you're in your teens or 20s will have massive short-term and long-term impact on everything that you do. The unfortunate reality is that a lot of people who grow up in bad areas, they're usually surrounded by bad people who have bad intentions or are doing bad things. And this isn't even unique to bad areas. You can be in a good area, you can be from any walk of life and still be surrounded by bad people who are making these bad decisions, and sometimes end up becoming these people, which then perpetuates this cycle. Be around people that will push you to do better. Whether it's that friend that you go to the gym with who pushes you to do that extra rep, or that mentor that tells you need to install a hot tub in your room so that your Twitch stream will get more views. You are the average of the closest people around you. If they are ambitious and hardworking and tenacious, then that'll elevate you and motivate you to do better and be better. If they're the opposite, at the very least, they'll be wasting that valuable time that you have that you could have spent on making your life better. Don't accumulate debt. Guys, do not max out your credit cards. Do not take out more cards because you can't pay off your other cards. That's like going and buying a new car because you can't do an oil change on your current car. Many Gen Z and people under or even over 27 years old have this notion that credit cards are basically monopoly money. They either don't understand or don't have the same stress or feelings of anxiety when they use credit cards as opposed to cash, because maybe they don't see it coming out of their personal money right away. Also, don't lease or buy super expensive cars just because you got your first job or you got your first client and you're young. Now guys, I'm not saying don't treat yourself. Obviously you worked very hard to get that job or that client. Be smart about how you thank yourself and give yourself gifts. Don't affirm everything. Affirm and Afterpay and all the other startups that are pretty much copying them are great for people who can budget and understand how a purchase will affect their finances weeks or months out. If you don't feel confident that you can absolutely afford that $1,000 Diablo 4 DLC, and by that I mean if you're looking at that price and you get the same feeling you get as if you're about to walk up and talk to the most beautiful girl in the world, stop and don't buy it. And if you have to rent, which a lot of Gen Z and even older people honestly nowadays have to do, I have talked to so many people who are Gen Z or in their 20s or even 30s, and they are renting apartments that cost half or even more of their paycheck. Seriously, I get that roommates can suck, believe me. They're either too loud, too quiet, they smell weird, they look like they smell weird. Even your friends, and I say this because I have been roommates with one of my best friends in the past, they do things that after a while slowly will start to annoy you. If you really don't want to have roommates, guys, there are a lot of cheap and up-and-coming places that aren't California or NYC. And finally, click that subscribe and like button and comment down below, what is the one thing that you're spending most of your paycheck on right now?